What's going on, all you refined people? John with Refinery Fragrances back for another video. Today we are going to be taking a look at Escentric 04 by Escentric Molecules. Before I dive into the review, if you guys are interested in fragrance-related content like this and you have not yet subscribed, please do consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell icon for notifications for any future uploads. So Escentric 04 was released by the company Escentric Molecules in 2017, and the perfumer behind this, as well as all of the other fragrances from Escentric Molecules, was done by Geza Schoen. For those that are not aware of how Escentric Molecules works, I want to give you a quick rundown of how the company operates. So they always release two fragrances in tandem, and they're both centered around one note. The Molecule line just simply has perfumer's alcohol and one note. So Molecule 01 was around Isoe Super, Molecule 02 was around Ambroxan, but then Escentric 01 has other notes supporting that Isoe Super, and Escentric 02 has other notes supporting the Ambroxan. So in this case, it's centering around Javanol. So Molecule 04, it's just perfumer's alcohol and Javanol, and then with this fragrance, the other notes supporting it, it has grapefruit, juniper, osmanthus, rose, matic, and galbanum. So there's all of these, a few other players in this fragrance that giving that Javanol a lift. And I gotta say, I've owned Molecule 04 and I absolutely love that fragrance. I think it's amazing what they can do with just one note. And really with all of the fragrances in the Molecule line, it's kind of incredible how these one notes can have kind of a multifaceted thing. Like Molecule 01 has this slightly woody, sweet, airy thing that has some dimension to it, and it's just really interesting how one note can have so many different sides to it. Let's talk about longevity and projection with this fragrance. So I would say it's decently potent. I spray it on and I get a good 2 hours of arm's length projection, and then beyond that it does sit close to the skin, but I would say it stays on skin for like 10 hours. It really does last and hold on to the skin. I do wish it was a little bit more, I kind of wish it was stronger in terms of projection, because I feel like when I wear Molecule 04, it feels like it projects the entire time. Now, I could be misinterpreting it. It could be projecting for longer than 2 hours. Some of you know this. The Molecule fragrances are like ghosts. Like you smell them 1 minute and then they're gone the next, and then hours and hours later you'll get a big whiff of it. And that could absolutely be the case with this fragrance. I just feel like, you know, from how I perceive it, from the wearings that I've had with this, I've worn it many times now, I get about 2 hours projection. And then with the longevity, I really cannot complain there. For seasons and occasions, I would say this is a really versatile fragrance. I could see somebody using this as a signature scent, using it all year round. For me, I'm gonna use it in the spring and summer months. So right now, it's the end of June. I'm in Nashville, it's really heating up. And this fragrance has a really nice warm weather quality to it, a very fresh, bright, slightly tart, uplifting quality to it. So I think that I would reserve this for spring and summer, but I just think that some of the notes in there, you get the rose, you get the Javanol, that sandalwood accord in there. It really does make it pungent enough to be worn in the cooler months. If you're, you know, a fan of signature scents, or you just want one thing to last you all year round, this could be a good option for you. When it comes to price point for Escentric 04, you can expect to pay $140 retail for a 100 ml bottle like this. And I believe the 1 ounce bottle is, I'm almost wondering if they might not make 1 ounce bottles in this. They do in the Molecule line, and that runs you about $80. I'm unsure as to if they make this in a 1 ounce bottle or not. Feel free to check it out. If they do, it's likely gonna be 80 bucks. But for $140 for a 100 ml of a niche fragrance that has good performance, I think the packaging is really cool, especially this. This is, in my opinion, the coolest bottle from both lines, both the Molecule and the Escentric line. I think this has a really cool quality to it. It always has that like motherboard, electronic, science this laboratory kind of a aesthetic. I think that's really cool. So all things considered, I think $140 is a really fair price, and you cannot find this on discounters to my knowledge. Before I move on from the look of this bottle, I want to give you guys, all of you guys out there that like when I show the sprayer or the atomizer off, this one's for you. Pretty good atomizer. It's not like you can't control how much you spray, but it is a good atomizer, and it gives off a really nice cloud that's not too wide and not too like streamlined. It's actually a really nice atomizer. Okay, let's talk about the most important part of the fragrance, the smell. What do I get out of it? So like I mentioned, I get a very fresh, floral, woody, and tart scent profile from this. So, you know, the one that I had before, which was Molecule 04, just that Javanol Accord alone, which is a synthetic sandalwood, it really has this, you know, woody, creamy, fresh type of a feel to it. And I love Molecule 04. I love that Javanol on its own. When you put all the other supporting notes around it, although this is fresh, it can be a bit challenging, actually. And I say that, that's fine. That's not a negative thing to me, because if I'm going for a niche fragrance, I do want it to have something unique. I want it to have kind of an edge to it. But I just want to warn you that if you're a fan of something like Dior Sauvage, or you're a fan of, you know, Creed Aventus, or things that are just fresher, and this is not your run-of-the-mill fresh scent. It has so many different nuances to it and could be challenging. The juniper berry and the grapefruit create this really tart opening, really fresh, tart blast. As you get into the mid, you start to really pick up on that Javanol and the rose. And my favorite part of this fragrance is the mid. I actually find that the opening is a little bit screechy to me. It's not as smooth, and as it dries down, I prefer you know, the mid and the base of this fragrance. Those, again, are not negative things. I like that edge to it, but just beware of that. So I want to talk about this fragrance quickly in comparison to its counterpart, Molecule 04. While I really do like this fragrance, I think it's a very well done composition by Gezachon, I actually prefer Molecule 04. I think that the beauty and simplicity that's found in Molecule 04 with that Javanol note is just astounding, because it has so many different facets to it. It has such a depth to that one note. And it has all of these qualities that I really love. And so I prefer that fragrance. Not that this is a bad fragrance, it's just that when you add things, you know, like the juniper and the grapefruit and the rose, I love rose in fragrance. I've said that many times on this channel, but I love that rosy floral component here. To me, it just leans a bit sharp in the opening, and it's slightly off-putting, and it especially can be off-putting for some of you out there that maybe are not into niche fragrances quite yet, or you're new to the game. Like I said, this is not just going to be you're not going to find this in Macy's, and you're not going to find anything that smells like this in Macy's or Sephora or anything like that. So I got to mark it high in terms of uniqueness, because it's an incredibly unique fragrance. I have nothing like it in my collection. But I also feel the same way about Molecule 04. So I think that if I was to recommend one or the other, I would recommend that you check out both, sample them both. But in my opinion, if you're maybe gonna blind buy, which I don't normally recommend that you do that, I would say go for Molecule 04. So that is all for me on Molecule 04. Pretty short and sweet. I've been wearing this one a lot, and I've kind of formed a pretty concise opinion on it. I think it's a nice fragrance. I think it's well done, well composed. I think the longevity and projection is great. It's just there's some other fragrances out there that I would reach for more, and Molecule 04 would be that. Also, I want to apologize to you guys. I've been MIA for the past couple of weeks. My wife and I actually went on a vacation to Mexico for our anniversary. We went to Tulum, Mexico, and it was an amazing time. Such such a great getaway. Highly recommend Tulum if you guys are looking for a vacation just to unplug and unwind, and they have amazing food there. Unfortunately, no fragrance shops there, so I couldn't get my hands on any fragrance. I couldn't kind of film any content for you guys while I was there, and honestly, we needed to unplug anyway. So anyway, all that to say, that is all from me on Escentric 04. Let me know down in the comments, guys, have you tried Escentric 04? Have you tried Molecule 04? And tell me some of your favorites from the Escentric Molecules lines. I would really want to know. Let's get a conversation started down in the comments, and I will see you guys soon.